cooperate in their color show, to complement or to resist varieties of human seeing. The rod, the cone, the baton, the root, the bone. A frame hangs on the air of our words as we fight again in the kitchen, hanging on what I almost said to your face, with an object, a remote or a spatula, still gripped in my fist, and blood whispering in my ears from the proof of the bonded whiskey. I walk at night so I can appreciate the next day, and I know it is a privilege to stew in my emotions and return when I want. I suck on my teeth, firm in my jaw. The frame hangs on the air. I want to focus on a part of the myth where Dionysus is a wanderer because he was half unlike any other god, born of a mortal mother. He wandered until he filled with more ichors than any unquestioned god, and earned his rest in Olympus. Mist erasing the grid of every field of vines he stepped through. Falcons lurking in the rafters of every barn. A frame hangs on the air. It is round and creosotic, and I crawl deep into its tunnel to the outerness, chanting, oh, ow, no, no, now, yes, 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 yay, yow. But declaring yourself unleashed is like declaring bankruptcy, is like a child fighting its nature. You are still tied to your creature, dragging the ghost of your jesses. A frame hangs on the air. I hereby make an anatomical gift, lay my flesh tone over your silver tone, my bone against your scythe. I'm ready to experience true sight, so I toss my eggs, my bonnets, my bloodied oranges into the frame, and there, ever after, I watch them hang.
20th birthday.
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gilbert. Happy birthday to you.
How many years? 20. You are old.
Huh?
Okay, te voy a poner la. I have another one because this is too small. ¿Tú lo hiciste?
I always do this.
Voy a poner. Te voy a poner velitas para cantar detrás. ¿Dónde están los cerillos? The bottle. Pero no tengo.
Go a little farther so I can go get a better.
¿Cuánto le pongo?
20.
Ahora te digo.
No.
Okay, a ver, espera. Hay que ponerse las todas.
Empieza por ti. Bueno, ahora mismo no sé cómo reaccionar, porque nosotros fuimos muy jóvenes. Yo tenía 18 años, él tenía 19, y todavía no sabemos cómo reaccionar. So.
Pero se siente,
muy orgulloso,
se siente
contento.
rico, se siente, ¿cómo se siente?
Tengo miedo.
Tengo miedo, tan grande con miedo. ¿Miedo a qué?
Porque yo no sé si la gente nos van a
¿Aceptar?
aceptar y, esto es muy importante en una vida de una estrella.
Okay.
Pero
¿Tú sabes lo que
estamos
yo...
contentos.
Está contento, pero está con miedo. Fíjense
Ajá.
qué interesante, fíjense qué interesante. Ellos están bailando un baile aquí que vimos que se llama...
Las oraciones que pueden rezar cada noche. Espero que se hayan relajado un poco. Y como les dije, espero en un futuro que ya haya pasado esta luchita de trabajo en exceso. Pues me pueda poner al corriente con todos un poco en el trabajo. Pues pueda subir más videos de los que me pueda actualizar con ustedes en cuanto a las peticiones y todo que me han hecho. Rezar lo que trato de rezar cada noche antes de dormir. Sí, no practicar el catolicismo como yo, pues les pido respeto. Pues eres católico igual, sigue las oraciones cortas y si lo vas buscando para dormir, pues creo que te relajaría, te sentirías más a gusto y confiado. Empezaré con el Padre Nuestro. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad, en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos nuestra pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas, como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en la tentación ni líbranos de todo mal. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros los pecadores, ahora y a la hora de nuestra muerte.
Everyone. Well, we certainly had some beautiful weather over the weekend. I hope everyone was pleased. But it does look like it's going to be clouding up a little bit over the next few days. Let's take a look right now at those Williston currents. The temperature right now stands at 58 degrees. The sky is mostly cloudy. The wind is south at 5. The barometer is 29.85 and steady, and that indicates a little bit of a low pressure system, thus the clouds. The humidity right now is 67 degrees. Again, it's getting hazy. Today's high was 75 earlier in the afternoon, and the low was this morning around 52 degrees. The record high was 85 in 1967, and the record low was a cold 13 degrees in 1907. Precipitation, of course, there was none. It did cloud up through the four-state region, but it especially clouded up through the whole nation. In New York, fair skies, one of the few areas that did have fair skies. 76 in Washington, D.C. Again, these temperatures are dropping as compared to what they were 2 and 3 weeks ago. Moving further west, Atlanta, Georgia had a reading of 57 with rain, and the warmest area today was in Miami, 68 degrees, and it was partly cloudy. Here come those clouds. Moving further up in the nation, skies in Chicago, a reading of 74 degrees, and down in Louisiana, Mardi Gras country, we have a reading of 88 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Looking further into Texas, we have 62 degrees, Dallas-Fort Worth, partly cloudy skies, and with those skies, again, they got the rain. You remember last week they had
Mucho trabajo.
¿Qué tipo de música van a hacer?
Vamos a hacer con house, pop, R&B, disco.
Básicamente para que la gente baile,
Música bailable.
bailable.
Porque nosotros somos hispanos y somos en Hollywood aquí, ellos hay gente, coreógrafos que son más grandes que de una vez no nos van a darle crédito a nosotros porque somos hispanos y somos jóvenes, se lo van a dar a alguien que ha trabajado con Michael Jackson o
Pero la realidad es que ustedes ayudaron con ella a coreografiar todas esas cosas que vimos en esa película.
Todo.
Esos bailes eran bailes de la calle, de los clubs, no eran bailes de estudio de coreógrafos.
Bailes de nosotros.
Bailes de ustedes.
Sí. Un baile de la calle y baile de los estudios también mezclados.
Yes. This is Sunday right now, November 1st, and right now I'm just recording this to let you know that the time on the Halloween, when it was Halloween, well, if you rewind this tape a little bit, the time was incorrect. It was actually 1 hour behind that time. It was actually 1 hour ahead. So,
but it does look like it's going to be clouding up a little bit over the next few days. Let's take a look right now at those Williston
you'll
currents.
know that it was
The
1
temperature
hour
right now stands
before
at
the
58
time that you
degrees. The sky
see.
is mostly cloudy.
So.
The wind is south at 5. The barometer is 29.85 and steady, and that indicates a little bit of a low pressure system, thus the clouds. The humidity right now is 67 degrees. Again, it's getting hazy. Today's high is 75.
We know that the criminal conviction is a significant obstacle to future employment. We know that incarceration is a significant source of trauma for children who are left behind.
I want some thunder and lightning.
Association opposed to criminal law. They raise concerns about certain crimes that could
What about the lightning?
Are there any?
They might.
We're live. Yay. Hello, Faith.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and thank you for such an awesome program. That was so great. I loved every second of it. Yeah, we're live. I guess let's start with technicalities. Can you tell us a little bit about how you work, like what kind of media you work with? It looks like you work with kind of everything: film, video, collage.
Yeah, it's just whatever is at my disposal. When I'm broke, obviously video and collage are the go-to, and when I can afford it, film. The second to last film, Oracíon, was this process that I came up with out of wanting to work with the material of film, but not having enough money for processing, or any kind of telecine scans or anything like that, which I kind of titled Stickermania. It has that really strange quality to it, where I basically just found footage, video, or images, just still images, and export them frame by frame, PNG, and just shrink them down to 16 millimeter size and on Photoshop. Try to line them up enough so that they would fit a 16 millimeter strip, and then print them on the clear paper or clear paper, and then cut those strip by strip and painstakingly try to land them on clear leader. That, of course, is just like bleached old scrap film that I didn't really do anything with, but I'm pretty all over the place. Sometimes it's as simple as just still images, like amend and repair, and sometimes it's 16 itself. It's all over the place.
So that 24-hour sign in Oracíon, is that the donut shop on Mission Street?
No, but that is a good guess. The incredibly expensive overpriced Denny's on Mission, around like Mission and 3rd.
Well, that was bad guess by me. That was, I love the like sort of like late night, like gotta get some food kind of jitters. to that?
I think that was just the film being like stuck in the gate somewhat. So that aberration was totally by mistake. But
really?
So I just ran with it.
That's cool. So where do you find your material that you work with?
I mean, all over the place. Sometimes it's just like weird YouTube rabbit holes of looking at other people's home videos, my own home videos from when I was growing up. I worked at a thrift store for years, which was the best job I ever had. And of course, that was a great place to find images and collage material, whether it was like, 8mm films or old magazines from the 70s. Just whatever I come across and get my hands on. I'm not very discriminate about where I get my images.
So you just sort of do like find imagery and then just sort of hoard it and then whatever you do? Or do you start with an idea or do you start with the material?
I guess the material is conditional, right? Like how broke am I at this moment? And then material, I don't know. I don't have like an exact answer for that. It's just whatever the mood strikes me. I guess I never thought about it until now, but I mean, I guess for me, it's more about foraging for imagery, and then just especially with like collaging, it's like putting two images together and like, does that work? Do I like how that feels? No, okay, I'll try something else. Oh, do I like how that feels? Yeah, okay, let me like explore that more. It's very, it's the antithesis of planning and being meticulous. It's very moment by moment, process based.
Yeah. Do you have like 10 different projects going at any given time?
All the time. And sometimes I'll absolutely hate a project and I'll bury it and I won't look at it for months until I come across it by accident when I'm trying to reorganize like all my hard drives, and then I'll see it again. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. Did I make that? And then like I'll be in a different space to, kind of work on it a little bit more. So I always have 10 million things going on at the same time.
Yeah, usually giving something time or space it allows you to see things differently, more objectively. And I have to do that all the time. Because otherwise you think too much, you think too hard, and then like everything just falls apart.
Yeah, definitely. Running away from expectations is a big thing I try to practice, and by like casting a wide net, it's easier to go away and then meditate and then come back and like bring fresh eyes to something.
Yeah. And then text and like poetry, is that something that you do yourself, or do you collaborate with others with poetry?
Yeah.
Do you write the poetry yourself?
No, I'm not a poet at all by trade as far as like text or language goes. Through a field, I collaborated with my longtime friend and past roommate, Maddie Morey. She's a great poet based out of New York. I kind of came up with the imagery, and I had her, have complete creative license as far as the words that go with it. I don't really ask for too much about the meaning of the poem, and every time I watch it, it just takes on a new feeling for me. Some of the text in Oracíon that you kind of see fuzzy in the background is just like random stream of consciousness diary entries that I've typed out. Not really anything that you can decipher, but something that I just know that was part of the process and like part of the mood and feeling and making it.
We just got a question from Farley Guazda about Oracíon. He says, in Oracíon, there's a lot of text which is degraded and or going by too fast to see, and there is language that is too quiet to hear. I want to hear you talk about language.
Yeah. So Oracíon in particular, I'm kind of working through, some of the personal things I'm working through is my Latinx cultural identity. I grew up on the Tijuana-San Diego border. I never really felt like I fit in exactly with Chicanos, nor did I feel like I fit in with, Mexicanos, like Mexican natives. But I also never fit in with Americans or like, non-Latino Americans. And so language has always been a really hard thing for me to feel like I could comfortably articulate myself with. Communicating with my family, especially, there's still a language barrier. And whenever I communicate with them, it's kind of a vulnerable, humiliating process. And I feel like I can't fully express my personality. And something gets lost in translation, even though I want to make a connection with them. And that's part of the reason why the prayers in the background are very muted and sometimes peak, because it's a tough whisper. It's like a strong whisper, or the language is very degraded. It's, to me, it's my process of trying to communicate with someone with some language barrier and understanding, perceiving more than you can articulate, but something gets lost in the translation, and just having faith that, like, even if you don't understand it explicitly word for word, there's some kind of sentiment or an emotion that like translates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, if anybody else has any questions for Faith, feel free to throw it in the chat. That was a good question and a good answer. So I don't know, it occurred to me that like moving image collage sort of is like a manifestation of like contemporary like thought processes, where there's just like continuous, like for anybody who's grown up, you know, who was born probably after, you know, 1975, it's like you can't not think, like you can't have a different thought process. It's just like continuous like overlapping of memory and like external stimuli, and like, because you're constantly trying to like, you know, watch whatever on YouTube and like catch up on your Facebook, or like, you know, watch the news, or like memories and blah, blah, blah. And there's just like constant bombardment. I feel like you capture that really well, and you reflect it back really well in your work.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think like everyone, I fall in the camp of like, we're somewhat of at whim and influences of the situations, environments, media that we consume.
Yeah. What else? So where do you find your inspiration? Who inspires you? What inspires you?
Life. I don't know. I wish I had a good answer for that, but it's not really rooted in necessarily like always absorbing the great masters, but it could be anything from like long conversations of like catching up with old friends, or, you know, my horrible bouts of just going on TikTok for hours and like consuming a bunch of like memes. I don't know. It's I kind of, whenever I think about this, I was thinking about the show that I reprogrammed, and the concept of the show, or how I picked all the films, was in relation to like the concept of like, if you ever got strapped to a rocket and was launched out into space, like how would you come to terms of leaving behind every single little mundane small thing that's so terrestrial? Like when you get to the moon, there wouldn't be, you know, Coke bottles, or, you know, old ticket stubs to movies, or, you know, dirty sponges that have been thrown away a month ago or whatever. And so it's just, I take inspiration of like, what do I find that's really precious that I otherwise, you know, wouldn't in like an intellectual or academic way.
Do you ever throw stuff away, or do you just keep everything? Are you a hoarder?
Purging. I'm trying to get better at like trading with people, or if there's something that I really care about, or that I know in the distant future there's no specific use for it, I try to give it to someone that like, oh, you would really like this, right? Like you can make something of it, but I'm trying not to become hoarder. What about yourself? What do you hold on to? Do you record a lot of things for your imagery, or do you try to cull every once in a while?
Both, yeah. I'm really bad at like I just tend to keep everything, because I'm like, oh, maybe I can use this someday and something, and then I just get really freaked out and I start just throwing stuff away indiscriminately, and I'm just like, oh God, I wish I still had that thing random thing that I had. Yeah, it's hard. Plus, I don't have a whole lot of space I mean, I have like a lot of space, but then I don't have a lot of space. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not very discriminate about what I keep. But yeah, okay. Gilbert is reminding me of your workshop.
Oh yeah, that's coming
Faith
up.
has a workshop coming up on February 7th, cut and paste. Collage as a means of play. Yeah, so that's coming up on February 7th, and you're going to be talking about your process, your thoughts, your ideas, and kind of sharing different ways of creating collage.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I don't have a lot of friends that also collage, so it would be fun to make friends with people that also like to collage. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a very free, moment by moment, low barrier for entry process. And I can't meditate to save my life. I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could, but collage is like a good substitute for me, at least in that sense. So.
Yeah, I agree. There's just, there's too much background noise to like try to tune it all out. But yeah, if you can get into like a workflow, that's been my way of meditating too. I totally understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I don't see any other questions.
Nice. Well, short and sweet. I like that.
Yeah. So thanks again so much. Yeah, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks. And yeah, for anybody who's interested in taking the workshop, if you sign up before next Sunday, Faith will send you a very special care package in the mail. Otherwise, there's a list of materials that you can source yourself. Yeah, if you want to wait till the last minute to decide. Yeah, anyway.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really inspiring.
Likewise. I'll let everyone get home to an early start to their Sunday night. So, I mean, they're already home.
All right, take care. See y'all later.